So I'm at the lake. I've wanted to show you a few of the little things, improvements I've done today. So first of all, I've got these little I'll show you this one at the back. These lovely metal sort of wires, and they slide over the GoPro handles and they don't come off, and then you just I've just clipped them with a carabiner onto somewhere on the boat, so they just look after the camera, and they're a little bit easier to you know, pull on and off rather than having to untie a string. And I've got one on this camera here as well, and this will clip out around here for the front of the boat. Or, you know, you can clip them to your, I've got longer ones, so I can clip them to my buoyancy aid as well. So we'll see how we get on with those. If we don't lose a camera, I guess it's all good. If we do, it's another £300 mistake. These telltales are sort of puzzling me a little bit. I am getting to grips with them. I think I'll do a video on them actually when I've learnt and had a practice, but I think you're supposed to watch one side. If you're beating up, you watch the leeward side. If you're I've got that right around. If you're downwind, you know, you do the other side. You just want to make sure that the telltales are streaming. So I've put them on, oh, let me just go back a little. I've put them on the boat so you can just see them. I've got 2 on the mainsail. I think they're roughly, someone said you put them in line with your battens. I've got 2 on the jib, and I've got, they're mirrored on the other side as well. When they're right, they're supposed to sort of stream, you know, like that. You know, and if they're doing this or whatever, then you know that you've got to trim the sail in a particular way. So we'll just see how they work today. So there's not an awful lot of wind today. You can see there's loads of canoeists out there today. There's not a lot of wind. We'll see how we get on. I haven't brought my motor today because there's supposed to be a lot of wind, but it can change at the bat of an eyelid, so we'll see how we get on. The other thing I've done is this is like from an old GoPro sort of eBay, £25 for shed loads of stuff kit. Yeah, so I can do that kind of thing. I wanted to get a little bit more angle out the back of the boat, so I can get like a better view of me sailing and whatnot. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit close, that, but we'll see how we get on. I think a little bit of wind out there. It's time to sail. We'll see how we get on. Otherwise, it'll be an early breakfast and coffee for me. So I've just launched. We're about 100 meters away now, maybe, and it's taken us about 5 minutes to do that. As you can see, it's really calm. We are basically creeping across the lake, and I'm having to sit in the middle of the boat to just keep it balanced. The sails are just flapping. There's just nothing. It's doldrums. So I don't know what to do really. I think I will go over to the activity centre and I will have a mid-morning snack and see if things brighten up a little bit. It's supposed to be 4 or 5 knot winds now, raising to sort of 6 or 7 by about 1ish. So, you know, this is, you can't really sail in this. So we'll see how we get on. I'll see if we can get over there. No wind at all today. Really weird, because even taking the lowest forecast on windy.com, it was saying, I'm sure it said 5 knots now, like by 10 o'clock in the morning. So there you go, that's the way the weather is. It's nice and warm though, so that's a benefit. So we'll keep our eye on it. Go and have a cup of coffee and maybe even a cake, and see if anything happens in half an hour or so. We're coming back down the lake. We're kind of on a beam reach, I think it's called. So we're just off the wind but going downwind on the sort of that downwind quarter. It's so serene. Like I really enjoy beating, actually. I think it's quite involving, and I don't know, I just like beating for some bizarre reason. But I can imagine on a yacht if you're beating for too long, hang on, I'm just going to trim the jib. If you're beating for too long, it could be hard work, you know, pounding, all that pounding on the hull. In a dinghy, it's kind of fun. So, but then when you come to go downwind, it's all a bit, yeah, it's really serene, deceptively fast. I mean, look, at the start of the video, we just passed the weather. I was literally on that weather station, which is just to my port side, and now we must be 100 meters away. Oh, and the wind's just gone now I've said that. Unfortunately, the wind today is quite unpredictable, so I've got to be very careful as I'm going downwind now, because this boom could easily swing right across, whacking me on the head for about the 8th time in 2 weeks. Whoop, here we go, a little bit more wind. So let's go have a look what we're doing. I have now tightened the jib a little bit, whoop, and I think the sail has got the jib has got a little bit more shape to it. And now we're downwind, I'm assuming that the telltales need to be the inside ones, so the windward ones, these are, I think they're the ones we're looking for, but all I can see is the leeward ones are looking good, and the windward ones, which is this side, aren't looking so good. So I've got some learning to do with trimming my sails and understanding telltales. In fact, they're fast becoming the bane of my life, those things. I want to learn how to use them and see if I can. So I'm learning to trim the sail though with there's the downhaul, sorry, and the uphaul, and you can tell what happens to the sail when you sort of pull those in and out. The kicker or the vang as well, this metal sort of strap that goes on here, that is just moderately loose at the moment. Well, I mean, there's no wind all of a sudden, but you can see we're still deceptively fast when we're going downwind. Yeah, running as they call it. I quite like it. So there's not much going on this week. I think what we'll do, it's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I tend to sail till about 3:30. You know, I've got permission, should we say, to sail till 4 today, you know, 4 or 5. But I think what we'll do, we'll see what's what. We'll see what the wind does. We'll get back down to base, and if there's some nice wind, well, we can just do some circuits until we feel otherwise, and then I've got a few little projects that I can show you on the boat. Unfortunately, I couldn't show you projects earlier today because there's a big school gang of group of guys came using canoes, and they were like completely in the way and whatnot, so I didn't really feel like I could do a video in front of all of them lot, but hopefully I can do it one when I get back. I showed a video before where I did some sort of repairs. I sort of glued this on, and the glue is sort of, I don't know, that hot heat glue is not great with water. So what I wanted to do though was measure. These are the new pieces of wood that I'm going to put here, and I just wanted to make sure they measured up. So I don't really want to take this off though. I'm going to try and feel, let's see if we can just make sure those holes measure up with those. They're about there. I don't know about this, these bolts look quite rusty, so I might have to replace those bolts as well. What I can't do is break it and not have a trailer, not be able to get my boat out. So don't know. So what I'm going to do is see if I can find my staple gun, just check if the staples are in the car, and see if that I can staple this carpet back on. And this is my staple gun. This thing's amazing. You just sort of hammer staples in. It's really good for putting up sort of like waterproofing on walls and things like that. So what I'm going to try and do here is just staple this down. I'm not going to be able to do this while holding the camera though. So that works. You can see those staples have gone in. you just whack them in, and actually that's really helped that. So this side, I think now I know the staples are working. I'm going to get rid of this foam, just really unbalancing the boat, and I'm going to put this piece over there. I'm going to staple that on as well. Right, good job. So that's pretty good. It's pretty secure actually. It's definitely gonna be okay for now. It'll do, and it's quite slippy. It's actually presented me with a new problem, which is the boat doesn't sort of stay on here. It slips down, which is great for launching, but not so great when you want to keep it on the trailer. So, well, we'll have to work that one out. But for now, that's hopefully going to see the trailer through till the end of the season. And then I can get it home, and then we can really go to town on it and fix it all up. I've actually tied this down. I think this slipped a little bit, so I've tied this down a little bit lower. I still think the sail needs to be trimmed that far back to get rid of the crease, but it definitely seems to have sorted it a little bit. So the other thing I've done, I've just launched the jib. I just wanted to measure if I want to do some wing on wing sailing. I just wanted to measure the distance I probably need to get a pole, or I think they call it a whisker pole, that would go out and force the sail out. So if I just walk around the other side of the boat, so it would do something like this, and that would be a perfect sort of shape. I don't know if you can see that. In fact, we've got the wind almost on our backs now, and that would be beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure that distance from there to sort of over to the mast, and then I'm going to see if I can make a piece of wood, a wood whisker pole that I can actually use to keep the jib open when I do wing on wing sailing. So I've just measured that distance there, and it's interesting. I could go for a metre, which is roughly there. I'm just seeing, can you see that? Yeah, and imagine you've got a pole going across there, or I could do a metre 10, a metre 20, or metre 30 would be sort of like that, and the pole would be a little bit forward facing. So I figure I could do a metre 30. If it's too long or it doesn't work, well, I'll just cut it down until it works, so you can always cut a bit off. So I'm going to do a metre 30, and I'm going to connect it here somehow, and then, I mean, it only needs to be connected with a string and a loop, and then see. It'd be quite exciting to try that, see if it helps my wing on wing coming back down the lake.